I will be picking the brute fight of the night.
All right, let's do that.
And at the end of the year, the fight of the year will be chosen by ourselves and the media in attendance at ringside here at the Paramount. And the winners will get themselves nice money bonuses plus other prizes provided by the Fabergé people. And we should have a good one right here, scheduled for 8. Let's go to Ed Darien for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is scheduled for 8 rounds, and it's in a junior middleweight division. The referee is Arthur Mercanti Jr. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with the brown trim. He weighed in at an even 155 pounds. Professionally, this young man has 15 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 8 knockouts. From Newark, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, here is the fighting fireman, William Bo James. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim. He tipped in at an even 156 pounds. Professionally, he has 8 wins, 1 loss, with 4 knockouts. From Brooklyn, New York, boxing fans, here is Julio César Green.
Julio César Green, who we last saw July 24th up in Catskill, New York, when he won a 6-round decision over Kelvin Prather. That's the same man who Bo James fought on May 21st here at the Paramount, and James stopped Kelvin Prather in the 5th round. So we will see how the fighting fireman, Bo James from Newark, New Jersey, fares against Julio César Green. And Julio César Green likes to come out fast, likes to throw rapid combinations and put the pressure on, as he's doing here.
Now, Bo James is pretty much of a cutie, Sam.
Bo James, 31 years old, full-time fireman from Newark, New Jersey, and a part-time boxer. And his part-time boxing has amounted to 18 pro fights over the course of 6.5 years.
I wonder if he has a gym upstairs in the firehouse.
But not too far away. A little low with that left hook. And Arthur Mercanti steps in. And Bo James a little uncomfortable.
I could hear that one all the way over here, Sam.
Green again applying the pressure. Banging the body pretty well is Julio César Green.
James is scoring occasionally with very, very clean, short punches.
I think James right here just needs to weather this, Gil, because this is Green's style. He likes to come out real fast.
James is an experienced fighter. He's been in with some tough guys. He knows how to take care of himself in there.
He needs to avoid getting hit by a big punch. And thus far he has. And James lands a combination that backs up Green and slows him down momentarily. Missing with those punches on the inside.
Tienes que quedarte abajo. Abajo. Dale, bótalo ahí. Abajo. Here. You understand?
Across the way is Bo James.
And Al Gavin, who usually doesn't do much talking, is really doing a job with Bo James. Reading the riot act to him.
All you got to do is keep doing what you're doing.
Bo James is managed by Mike Guadagno, who feels that the trainers of Bo James are guys that he respects, but I think if it were his choice, he might like to have trainers with a little more professional experience.
Well, perhaps that's why Al Gavin was in there really giving the instructions between rounds.
But they are men who have been with Bo James for a long time, who Bo James obviously trusts.
Solid punches by Green.
I think if Bo James were boxing full-time, Gil, that the manager might make a change in trainers. But seeing that Bo really does this on a part-time basis, he needs to go with the people that
He's
Bo feels
31 years
comfortable.
old, and I guess he's using it as an income supplement right now, and he has enough skill to fight these kind of fights. So these trainers, despite the fact that they're not experienced, they've done a good job with Bo James.
This is Bo James' third fight this year. Fought a 10-rounder January 16th. Won a 10-round decision over Rafael Williams May 21st. Stopped Kelvin Prather in the 5th. Just missed with that right hand. He's trying to set that right hand up.
And he's been landing some pretty effective left jabs, Sam. If he keeps this up, Green is going to start to bust up.
James likes to throw that right hand. That's his best punch. Green has slowed down his pace after the fast start. Green's only loss was September of last year in Philadelphia. Lost a 6-round decision to Kevin Tillman. And this is Green's 5th fight this year. He's won all 4. He wants them to listen to his commands. When I say break, break. Green just missing the overhand right. Coming to the end of round 2. Junior middleweights Julio César Green in the white trunks. Bo James in the blue.
You better keep those punches up.
Sneak right hand by Bo James. How have we got it so far, Sam?
I've got it even. First round to Green, second round to James. And right here, it's all Green, and now James fights back.
I have it exactly the same way. Second round, there wasn't much to choose, but I thought James just had a little bit the best of it.
Green went back on the attack early in this round. Banging the body hard. Mercanti wants the boxers to stop holding. Green is very strong. Can be a little wild, but if he lands some of those big punches, he can hurt.
And meanwhile, he's being outboxed by Bo James right now.
Still to come, welterweight contender Glenwood the Real Beast Brown. taking on Edwin Corrett. And then our main event, scheduled 12-rounder for the USBA Bantamweight Championship, with Junior Jones defending against Eddie Rangel.
Green comes out like a house of fire to start every round, but then he decides he wants to box, and he certainly can't box with Bo James.
No.
He's going to have to overwhelm him to win this fight.
Has been very steady, hasn't gotten flustered by the early onslaughts of Green. That's a sharp jab by Green. And James acknowledged it, shook his head as if to say, yeah, that was pretty good. Green starts to bang away. We're told by producer John Gallagher that this round may wind up going long, that there was a mistake on the clock in the arena, Gil, that this may wind up being a 3.5-minute round.
Well, what about the timekeeper? He's keeping time.
He should. They're going with the electronic scoreboard. We've just past 3 minutes, Gil. Just gone past 3 minutes in the round. So these guys better be in shape.
Used to be human error. Now it's a computer error.
Not going with the stopwatch. I thought you used the stopwatch as a backup in case the scoreboard fails. There's the 5-second mark. And the end of round 3. I don't know if anybody realizes it. All right, there's the 3 minutes set on the clock for round 4. And there's the computerized clock being used by the timekeeper. There's the stopwatch alongside. But in any event, the last round went long. Extra time.
Do you think they'll pay the fighters extra money for that?
No. But they should.
They're working overtime.
Bo James out for round 4 against Julio César Green. Sharp jab by Green. Green has the sharper of the punches, but James has been very effective with his jab.
Very effective with his little sneak punches. Again, Green starts out the round very aggressive, and then somehow he stops. Allows James to get back in there. You know, Sam, talk about making mistakes in a 3-minute round. One of the most exciting heavyweight fights in history was George Foreman and Ron Lyle. I worked with George Foreman in that fight, and in one round, George had Ron Lyle in a lot of trouble. The timekeeper rang the bell at the 2-minute mark. So it was only a 2-minute round. Unfortunately, George came on in the later round, got off the deck to do it, and stopped Ron Lyle. But if he would have lost the fight, he probably would have had a lawsuit against the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
That was a terrific fight. There's swelling under the right eye of Julio César Green.
Now, we mentioned that those jabs might start busting Green up. Bo James throws those awkward punches, but he does have a good effective left jab.
James very calm in there. Doesn't seem to get flustered by the barrages of punches that Green will throw, the flurries. He's been able to turn things around.
Landed a couple of good, clean, solid punches to the head in that exchange. And again, Green is the stronger of the two, and yet he allows Bo James supposed to walk him backwards. I used to tell that to my fighters. You're supposed to be the stronger guy, and yet you're letting the guy walk you backwards. And once you tell him that, then they go, oh, and then they move the other guy back.
Good left hook by Green.
Again, he allowed Bo James to march him right back against the ropes. He just allowed it to happen. Didn't use his strength. And again, we see James pushing him back.
There's the walk again. Not much on those punches by Bo James. Bo James has a 9-fight unbeaten streak. The last time he lost was in April of 1989. He's had 8 wins and a draw since then. Green warned for a low blow. Final seconds of round 4. Round 5 scheduled for 8. Bo James in the blue trunks, Julio César Green in the white, and there appears to be a cut over the left eye and under the eyebrow of Bo James, and it may have come from a headbutt at the end of round 4. He worked on that cut after the 4th round. Al Gavin, an excellent cut man, doing the work. How do you have it scored through 4?
I have it 3-1 Green.
I'm with you. Green applying the pressure. And the blood starting to come down the left side of the face of Bo James. Green banging the body.
And I watched Bo James then in that exchange, protecting that left eye with his left glove. Wasn't throwing punches. Very conscious of the fact that he's been cut.
James trying to fight Green off. Good right hand by Green. James covering up. Green banging. James lands a couple.
James is just not using that left jab enough the way he should. He has to do something to keep this strong young fighter off.
Moves by James with the right hand. He changed leads, led with the right hand, and then followed up with another right. Again, trying to set up that right hand. Green has landed a couple of stiff jabs in this fight, which have gotten him going. They've snapped James's head back, and Green has been able to follow up effectively.
Yes, Green is fighting in spurts, but when he puts the pressure on, it's all Green.
James is cut over the left eye. The blood is flowing down the left side of his face, but doesn't seem to be going into his eye and doesn't seem to be bothering him. Green answering back. And Green got caught with a short uppercut by James, a left-hand uppercut. Just stumbled a little bit afterwards. End of round 5. Over the left eye of Bo James. Again, Al Gavin, one of the best in the boxing business.
Thank you, sir.
Working on the cut. Now, let's go back to the end of round 4 and see this butt that opened this cut.
Back.
The closing seconds. Bang. Didn't look look intentional, just looked like an accidental butt as Green came up. What do you think, Gil?
No, I don't think it was intentional either, but you know, that is the way that cuts over when they hit them with the side of their head.
You watching him walk straight in, bro. Stop it, will you please? Huh?
Set for round 6. Both corners a little slow getting down from the apron of the ring. This is scheduled for 8.
How have you got it so far, Sam?
He's given 4 rounds to Green, 1 for James.
I'm with you.
If this fight were to be stopped because of that cut caused by the accidental butt, they'd go to the scorecards at this stage of the fight. This is round 6. Schedule 8-rounder. There are junior middleweights in the ring.
Sam, did referee McCarthy indicate that he was cut by a butt? If not, then I don't think that they would go for
The chairman of the New York State Athletic Commission, Randy Gordon, sitting at ringside, detected it right away, and I think he's indicated that. Perhaps he's talked to referee Mercanti, but he certainly detected the butt right away.
James has got to get more aggressive to get back into this fight. Fighting a little too defensively.
I think what you're seeing here is the difference between a full-time fighter in Julio César Green and a part-time fighter in Bo James.
Good left hook by Green and good points, Sam. Nothing like being in that gym every day. Just like going to work.
Bo James is an excellent athlete. Mentioned a full-time fireman in Newark, New Jersey.
Stop holding now. Let go. Break.
Has a wife and 2 children. Green, sharp with a jab.
Break. Step back. Break.
James hasn't really thrown any very solid punches, Sam, in the entire fight. He snaps out a jab, throws a right-hand lead once in a while, but nothing with leverage on it. There it is again, just
a right hand.
Just flicking it out.
But he's done enough to let Green know that he's around. That swelling under the right eye, there's blood coming down from the nose of Julio César Green. Round 6.
It takes to.
This is round 7, scheduled for 8. There have been no knockdowns. Julio César Green in the white trunks. Bo James in the blue. James was cut over the left eye at the end of the 4th round with an accidental butt. The blood continues to flow down from the nose of Julio César Green.
Big right hand. Big right hand by Julio César Green.
And James answers back.
Right uppercut. Vicious right uppercut by James.
Green motioning to the corner and to the referee, complaining about something. A lot of blood flowing down from the nose of Green. Another good right hand by James. Green answering back with his left. And a straight right hand sends James back.
Fighting fireman is a tough guy, Sam. You have to give him credit.
He's in excellent shape. Good athlete, as I mentioned. Clean living guy. Former sergeant in the National Guard. May still be a sergeant. May still be in the National Guard. James is not a big puncher, but he's been effective with the short punches, the jab, and that short right hand. Green has slowed down his pace.
Certainly has, Sam. There's a guy that comes out of the corner every round like he was shot from a cannon, but then all of a sudden starts backing up. Now he's going to.
And again, it was that jab, a sharp jab, that got Green going. James trying to work on the inside with the uppercut.
And James, that uppercut causes, that's what caused César Green's nose to bleed. You know, when I was training fighters for important fights, I used to always instruct the sparring partners, don't throw uppercuts, because they're the most dangerous punches when it comes to busting a guy up. And you didn't want a fighter to get cut and the fight to be postponed.
James landing a couple of rights. Green wild with his punches as he chases James. James making Green miss as we come toward the end of round 7.
Let's take a look at this action here. Now let's watch Bo James inside. There he's throwing those punches up. There's that uppercut.
And Green complaining. 8th and final round. How do you have it scored, Gil?
I have it 5-2 Green.
I have it closer. I've got a 1-point lead. I've got it 4-3 for Green. 67-66. I gave James the last 2 rounds. Very close.
I gave him the last round, but I did not give him the 6th round. I gave that to Green. But that was a very close round, that 6th round.
Last round. Let's not hold the box. Come on.
Quick left hand by Green got in. Good job by Al Gavin in the corner of Bo James. That cut over the left eye, which opened up at the end of the 4th round from an accidental butt, has not been a problem.
A lot of mauling and swinging here, Sam. One guy would calm down. You'd have a big advantage in this round, but both guys are trying so hard.
Sharp with his punches.
Green gets off right away. He's getting off first. And that's how he's, in my opinion, winning this round up to this point. Again, he is right off. No waste of time.
Green looking into his corner. Green looks a little tired here, Gil.
He's dead tired right now, Sam. That's why I say if James would calm down now, feint, step back, I think that Green would stumble into some pretty good punches.
First time Julio César Green has ever gone this far in a fight. Bo James has gone 8 or more rounds, half a dozen times. James got in a right hand that scored. Not a big punch. Hasn't been able to slow Green down. Green has done a lot of charging in throughout the fight. Green applying the pressure. Final seconds of the fight. James backed up. That's it. Good tough fight. Well, James gets some water from the opposite corner. Tommy Gallagher. James acknowledging the cheers of the crowd. Crowd liked it.
I thought it was a good fight. Plenty of action. Both guys really trying.
Julio César Green waving to his fans, and he's got a large contingent.
Come on, do it one more time.
What do you think, Gil? Green wins it.
I had it Green 6-2.
Okay, I went a little closer, 5-3, but gave it to Green by 2 points. We'll see what the judges think. That cut over the left eye of the fighting fireman, Bo James. Well, a couple of times we've seen him. He's put on fine performances. Julio César Green in his 5th fight this year. Last time we saw him, he was fighting his 2nd fight in 8 days. He fought a fight July 16th in Atlantic City and again July 24th in Catskill, New York. And here, a little less than 2 months later, back in action in his first 8-rounder. Cards being checked out. And we're still waiting the decision. 31-year-old Bo James. Very effective performance for him. Did a good job of boxing throughout. Just couldn't slow down Green with any big punches.
Right, he's by far the more experienced of the 2 fighters, Sam. But again, this kid had the ambition and the drive, in my opinion, to just a little too busy for Bo James, and I think he won the fight. But we'll see.
All right. Cards have been checked out at ringside, and Ed Darien will announce the winner to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the scoring by points as follows. Judge Harold Letterman observed 77-75. While Judge Barbara Perez, she watched it even at 76-76. And Judge Nick Cimino, he watched it at 78-74 for the winner by majority decision, Julio César.
Well, 2 judges agreed with us, Gil. Nick Cimino with you and Harold Letterman with me, and Barbara Perez called it even. Tough fight. Bo James a little dejected. Julio César Green elated, as well he should be. It was a good test for him. Fought an experienced fighter, as Gil mentioned, and threw the bigger punches. Maintained an aggressive pace throughout. Julio César Green, majority decision winner. Coming up next, welterweight contender Glenwood.